Well guys, after 4 years, it seems like Netflix have finally got a move on. Oscar-nominated director Greta Gerwig might be directing the first two The Chronicles of Narnia movies. And right now, this is just a rumour, not official. It might turn into the whole Jason Momoa, The Witcher Blood Origin nonsense. None of the Hollywood trades have announced this, but I imagine before the end of the year, we might get something. If they can lock this deal down, or if it changes. But if it's true, it's awesome. She might be what Narnia needs. And you remember, Netflix spent $250 million supposedly on this show, / movies, whatever they're doing, so they need to get the ball rolling. And if this is true, it seems like they're on their way. And it kind of gives us more of an idea of what Netflix strategy is going to be. Whether each Narnia book would be its own movie, whether they'd split it into an episodic series. But it looks like Netflix want Greta Gerwig to do the first two movies. That could be The Magician's Nephew and The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Or it might be Wardrobe and Prince Caspian. Honestly, it's more complicated than you think. But I would go for The Magician's Nephew as the very first movie and The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe as the follow-up. Maybe release them 1 year apart, maybe just film them together. For a long time, I wanted a full-on series just like Game of Thrones used to do, with 10 or even 8 episodes, like everyone else is doing as well, but I think for Narnia, they could get away with just one book, one movie. Because the Narnia books are not long. I think the audiobooks are around 4 to 5 hours, so there's no need for 8 episodes at an hour each. They can do 2.5 hour movies on Netflix. I think that would work, and if you want to think about it in this way, remember, they turned The Hobbit, which is a very small book, into 3 movies. And that was completely overdone, and most of us agree it should have just been 1 or 2 movies. So I'm more than happy for one Narnia book into 1 movie. And remember, Netflix have the rights to all 7 books, so if the first 2 work, we might get 7 movies. Or they might cancel it after 2 or 3. Nobody knows of Netflix. But I imagine there'll be multiple directors. For example, if Greta Gerwig does the first 2, I imagine someone else will step in for 3, 4, who knows. But I don't see her coming around for all 7, but first 2, yeah, why not? But I suppose we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, it's not official, and we know very, very little about Narnia on Netflix. But for me, personally, I'm losing faith in Netflix and many other studios. Netflix and Disney in particular. For Netflix, it all really started after The Witcher, when it was announced that Henry Cavill had quit the show. And most of us agree it's probably related not only to him becoming Superman again, but probably because he's such a big fan, and Netflix decided to do their own version of The Witcher. And there was a report from a former Witcher writer that some of the team mocked the source material. And I don't want any of that around Narnia. I want writers, directors that love and respect Narnia. They don't have to be super fans and a Narnia encyclopedia, but I think they have to be passionate and at least have a working knowledge of the Chronicles of Narnia and just want to do it for the fans. Make a good, faithful adaptation with love and respect for the source material and people that grew up with these books. I'm not a religious guy at all, but I want all the themes of the Narnia books and its storylines to remain intact. And I think that's a recipe for success. But I want you guys to post your thoughts on Greta Gerwig potentially directing the first 2 Narnia movies. And what 2 Narnia movies are those going to be? Honestly, it's a bit trickier than you think. We could go down publication versus chronological order, or Netflix might want to move stuff about. But as for casting, I think you can find talented children to play the Pevensey kids, Caspian, Eustace, Jill, and all the others. But I think it all revolves around the casting of Aslan and Jadis the White Witch. I think for Aslan, you're going to have to get a traditional English gentleman with a powerful voice. I remember Sir Patrick Stewart done the audiobook for The Last Battle, and I think he was my favourite out of all 7. But I don't know who I'm going to pick for the Narnia Netflix show. But no matter who it is, they have to have a godly voice. I think Liam Neeson was pretty solid in the old movies, but this is completely separate. It's not going to be The Silver Chair, Narnia 4. This is a complete reboot, telling its own story, off the books. And you'd think the voice of Aslan would be very easy, but I think it's tricky. I think you have to get at least a relatively known actor. You can't get someone that is fairly new. You have to have someone at least recognisable through their voice. And if I remember correctly, Aslan is the only character that appears in every single book. And I imagine he will be the biggest name on this show. I think that's where most of the casting budget will go. But I also think Jadis the White Witch is also an important casting. And I just cannot look past Gwendoline Christie, who played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones. When the show was first announced, that was the name that came to my head. She has the acting chops, the look, the height, which is crucial because the White Witch is very, very tall. And like I said, she's from Game of Thrones as Brienne of Tarth. She was in Star Wars as Captain Phasma, who I think was massively wasted. And more recently, she appeared in Sandman as Lucifer. And she's also going to appear in that new Wednesday Addams TV show. So she's got close ties with Netflix. And we know Netflix likes to keep a lot of stuff in-house. For example, Henry Cavill does a lot of stuff on Netflix. He does The Witcher and Enola Holmes. And Ryan Reynolds as well. There's a whole bunch of them. And Gwendoline Christie's done stuff in the past. And to me, she just fits the bill perfectly. And I just cannot see anyone else playing the White Witch. But we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, it's been 4 years. And this is pretty much the biggest news so far. But now a director's name is floating about. I think it's coming. I think by the end of the year we'll have something, because Narnia is a big money IP, and I think if Netflix do Narnia right, it could be one of the biggest shows in the world. But if they do it wrong, it'll just be another Witcher, another Lord of the Rings. But I want you guys to post your thoughts one more time about Greta Gerwig and your casting for Aslan and Jadis the White Witch. But yes guys, I think that'll do it for today. I might start work on a Harry Potter video now, because Warner Brothers are talking about making Harry Potter movies. And you know, just like Narnia, we love Harry Potter as well here. So look out for that. But for now, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.